Second round of mass demonstrations. 7 people in the Nyanza region dead. 10 people in the Kitengela Mlolongo area dead. Scores injured and admitted in various hospitals across the country. Property worth millions destroyed. Supermarkets, malls, shops vandalized. The Nairobi Expressway vandalized. Who will take responsibility? Tonight, our hearts cry out to Kahumbuini primary school students who are unfortunate to be caught up in the melee as a tear gas canister found its way inside the school. Police deny lobbing the can into the school compound where hundreds of students were learning. So who did? The protesters? Again, who will take responsibility? Responsibility is such a so clear and regular word, an act or fact of being accountable for something. Accountable. Folks, we find ourselves in a situation where blame games and pointing fingers is the order of the day, and this needs to stop. We cannot do blame games with people's lives. Somebody needs to take responsibilities. So who will it be? Good evening and welcome to EBN Weekend Edition with me, Cynthia Nanjala. Here are stories making headlines tonight. Husband and wife caught up in the tragic Maguga accident along the Nairobi-Nakuru highway as 52 people are nursing injuries. Ascent lower. EPRA reviews fuel prices for the month of July for kerosene, diesel and petrol.
There will be no violence. There will be no obstruction of businesses.
Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki vows to stop Azimio demonstrations at all costs. My name is Cynthia Nanjala. Welcome to the broadcast. You can watch it live on Facebook and on YouTube on EBN TV. Our SMS line is 23993. EBN Weekend Edition begins right now. Prices of petrol and kerosene decreased by 0.85 shillings and 3.96 shillings per litre to retail at 194.68 and 169.28 respectively in Nairobi, as the cost of diesel remains unchanged at 179.57. The Energy, Petroleum and Regulatory Authority EPRA maintained the 16% VAT on petroleum products in the review for month of July. On June 30th, EPRA reviewed the prices of petroleum products upwards to record figures after it implemented the doubling of VAT from 8% to 16%. Now, Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki has issued out a stern warning to the opposition for calling their supporters to demonstrate against the high cost of living. The CS, while speaking during the homecoming ceremony of Interior Principal Secretary Raymond Omolo, has assured that there will be no loss of lives or destruction of property during the demos. The Cabinet Secretary also apologized to the head of state on behalf of the security for the trauma and terror caused to Kenyans by a few.
And for that reason, I must admit, on Wednesday, we had some hitches in the security of our country when a few of our fellow citizens took advantage of the freedoms that are guaranteed in our Constitution to hurt other citizens, to damage their property, to paralyze business, and obstruct the rest of us. I assure you, Your Excellency, as you've directed me, I want to assure the people of Kenya that there will be no violence, there will be no obstruction of businesses, and there will be no loss of life and destruction of property on Wednesday, on Thursday, on Friday, or any other day that any person would want to disrupt our public order. It happened, it won't happen. And I am sorry on behalf of the security sector, Your Excellency, for the trauma and the terror to which we put innocent Kenyans just because of a few criminals who think they are bigger than the country.
Now, President William Ruto today landed in Homa Bay town for the homecoming of Principal Secretary Raymond Omolo, which was held in Kanyipir village inside Owiro Boys Secondary School. Speaking at the event, the president said that the cost of living will remain high and that Kenyans will have to endure the situation for now, claiming that protests cannot reduce the cost of living. Ruto said that for the next 3 months, there will be an abundance of food in the country due to the provision of fertilizers to farmers. In addition, the head of state warned the opposition wing not to hold violent protests, saying that it is against the constitution and that politics is driven by policies, not protests.
Ili tupunguze gharama ya unga, hatuwezi kupunguza gharama ya unga kwa kuweka sufuria kwa kichwa na kupanga maandamano ati unga itateremka. Itateremka namna gani? Kwani wewe ni magician? Hata kwa dawa, hata kwa uganga itateremka aje? Kupanga mambo ya unga ni ile tumefanya this year. Tumepatia wakulima magunia milioni 4 ya mbolea. Wakulima wamezalisha chakula. Ukitembea Kenya mzima, wakulima wamefanya bidii mpaka wameongeza another 200,000 ya sehemu ya kuzalisha chakula. In another 2 months, maximum 3 months, tutakuwa na chakula Kenya ambayo hamjawahi kuona, because we have done the right thing. So that is what we are going to do. That is how we are going to change Kenya. Na hivyo ndivyo tutasukumana mpaka Kenya iende laini. So mimi, I am not surprised by all this noise, because people know that Kenya is going to change. And those who don't want us to change want to derail and sabotage this change that is necessary and that is imminent. But I want to promise the people of Kenya that we are marching forward with the education of our children. We are marching forward with creating jobs for our young people.
Priests and members of the Anglican Church have urged President William Ruto to find an appropriate method of dialogue with the opposition leaders in order to stop the further disasters witnessed during the protests. At the same time, the priests have denounced the security officers for using excessive force, questioning that, according to the law, citizens have the freedom to protest and make their complaints.
The team urged the president to heed the cry of the common man and address the imminent issues affecting the country at the moment. The team has condemned the brutal killing of innocent Kenyans by the government. They wonder why the police are using more force on people who are not armed. The police must observe the law and adhere to it. Demonstrations are enshrined in the Kenyan Constitution, and the Constitution says this, as I quote, "Under the Article 37 of Kenya's 2010 Constitution, every person has the right, peaceable and unarmed, to assemble, to demonstrate, to picket, and to present petitions to public authorities."
In Kenya today, life is very unbearable, and we just appeal to the president and the leadership of the country to take heed, to hear the calls of Kenyans who are really suffering, so that they can sit down with all stakeholders and see how the cost of living can be reduced. During the campaigns, the president pledged to reduce the cost of basic commodities like fuel, electricity, and many other things. But immediately he was sworn in, we are seeing the basic commodities prices are increasing day after day. the president should come out and do something because Kenyans are suffering and this is the concern of the church.
Wakati kama huu tunaona jinsi maisha imekuwa ngumu katika nchi yetu. Maafa imekuwa mingi katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. Watu wanauawa wasipokuwa na hatia. Kwa hivyo sisi kama wakina mama tunaomba rais wetu aweze akae chini na wale ambayo wanaweza kukaa pamoja ili Kenya wetu iweze ikaendelea mbele.
Now, Cabinet Secretary for Interior, Professor Kithure Kindiki, spoke in Sondu Market today after holding a security meeting with the Rift Valley, Nyanza regions, and the Security and Intelligence Committees of Kericho and Kisumu counties. The Cabinet Secretary was in attendance even and has condemned the clashes that broke out in Sondu area on the border of Kericho and Kisumu on Wednesday, saying the violence claimed the lives of several people, leaving many people injured. According to Kindiki, the violence was organized by criminals who did it under the pretext of border disputes, adding that their reckless actions will not be tolerated. The CS announced that the government is ready to facilitate efforts to build peace among the communities living in the border towns in the country.
Kericho, watu wa Kisumu, nataka niwaambie kwamba mimi nitajumuika na nyinyi na wazee na viongozi wenu kutoka pande zote mbili, na mimi naamini ya kwamba tutapata suluhu ya kudumu kuhusu mambo ya mipaka na mambo mengine ambao tunazozana mara kwa mara hapa, ikiwemo mambo ya sehemu ya maneno ya revenue ya counties na mambo kama hayo. Those who committed crimes on Wednesday in this town were not doing so because of border disputes or because of any other disputes. They were doing so because they are criminals and they have joined together with other types of criminals who want to destroy our country.
Joey Irungu and journalist Jackie Maribe, who were charged with the murder of businesswoman Monica Kimani, will now know their fate in October this year. Judge Grace Nzioka has ordered the case to be decided on October 6th after Joey and Maribe finished testifying against the case. Joey and former girlfriend journalist Jackie Maribe have strongly denied involvement in Monica Kimani's murder case and who was found dead at her home.
Of DNA on the shot, on the brown shot. What the prosecution produced in this court is a yellow shot.
The only person who is insisting that the second accused has anything to do with this case is the prosecutor, my lady. With that then said, my lady, we would like them to address the question of accessory because that's where the prosecution has placed a lot of premium, my lady. And on the issue of accessory, my lady, when you retire to consider our case, we would like you to first of all reflect on this, my lady, that the prosecution at no point in this case ever raised the question of the second accused being an accessory. That was raised for the first time in the final submissions, my lady. It was not raised in the prosecution's case when they were using evidence of their witnesses, nor at the time of no case to answer, or at the defense. They just suddenly at the end of the case said, okay, if as we realize we made a mistake, you cannot catch her on murder, then please catch her on accessory. And so, my lady, we are saying we have suffered a very substantial prejudice because we had no notice of the intention to spring this surprise on the second accused.
Person stand up. We've come to the end of the trial. Your counsels have rested the submissions today to the court. And the next stage is for the court to render its decision in consultation with the counsels we have agreed that your decision, or the decision, not your decision, the decision in the matter will be delivered on the 6th day of October 2023 at 9 a.m. So we will adjourn until that day, the 6th of October 2023.
The former member of the Venezuelan embassy in Dwight Sagaray and the 3 other Kenyans have been found guilty of killing one other member of the Venezuelan embassy in the country, Olga Fonseca, in 2012 at her residence in Runda. The 4 have been sentenced to 20 years in prison. Judge Roslyn Korir has said that the imprisonment will start in January this year when they were found guilty.
R versus Scott OEJ stated that there is a fundamental and immutable principle of sentencing that the sentence imposed must ultimately reflect the objective seriousness of the offense committed, and there must be a reasonable proportionality between the sentence passed in the circumstances of the crimes committed. One of the purposes of punishment is to ensure that an offender is adequately punished. A further purpose of punishment is to denounce the conduct of the offender. I have considered that the trial has taken an unduly long period and that the accused must have undergone mental anguish during the pendency of the trial. I am persuaded that though they were out on bond, their liberty was attained, and more so out of the stringent bail provisions. I am persuaded that the pendency of the trial can be likened to a sword that hung over their heads for 10 years. Consideration, I sentence each accused as follows. First accused, Dwight Sagaray Kobold, is sentenced to serve 20 years imprisonment.
The controversy surrounding the study program in foreign countries in Uasin Gishu County has escalated as the former county governor Jackson Mandago came forward and blamed the administration of his successor Jonathan B, claiming that some county officials collaborated with the head of the KCB Bank to issue fake bank documents with the intention to create an image that his administration wasted that particular money. This is after the governor of Uasin Gishu, Jonathan B, asked the senator now, Mandago, to come forward and explain where the flow entered in the Finnish and Canadian Studies program when he was the founder of the program.
I am aware, ladies and gentlemen, that we have a serious problem of students who have not traveled for their overseas studies. And parents recently protested. And people have been asking, why is the senator silent? I think we also need to understand how government works. When you hand over an office, the reasonable thing to do is to allow the person who has taken over the office to run the office without your interference or lingering around to look like you want to interfere. So when I handed over the county government, I also handed over this program to the county government. And they have been running the program from the 25th of August to date. So when parents raised the issue, I would not speak about it because, one, there was a petition to county assembly. I still believe in this transformative program. I am ready as a pioneer and the senator of this county to sit with the governor and his team, with the team that is currently running the program, and he should invite the ones who are suspended and the parents so that we discuss where there were challenges. Let us pick the problem, and whoever is responsible, we get whoever is responsible. Finally, I know the matter was taken up by EACC and DCI. I'm also saying, I, as Jackson Mandago, the senator of this county, I am available anytime when called to explain, to write a statement, or to do anything for this program. Because I'm very forthright and clear in my mind that, one, contrary to what people say that I took this money, I never took any money. And you all know, I have never failed in my life as a governor to honor any summons anywhere.
The total expenditure on cancer treatment for one person is more than 1 million shillings. According to estimated expenditure collected in the country, cancer treatment takes more than 85 billion shillings, according to the Ministry of Health. Following the statistics, the MOH, together with other partners, has launched the National Cancer Control Strategy for the year 2023 to 2027 to reduce the burden of cancer in Kenya. Counties have also urged the government to increase health budgetary allocations so as to implement the strategy.
Expenditure in treatment is more than 1 million Kenya shillings. If you multiply that by the estimated number of cancer cases, which is about 85,000, that comes to 85 billion Kenya shillings. Our total health expenditure is estimated at 300 billion. So one disease alone nearly takes a third of our total health expenditure. So that situation is untenable, and therefore the launch of this document is critical to be able to change that scenario.
The question is, and we are again going back to our county folks, whether we have the personnel that we need to run those chemotherapy centers. Do we have the oncology nurses? Do we have oncopharmacists there who can mix those molecules? Do we have proper follow-up care? How extensive is our palliative care system in the country? The HPV vaccine is down to 1 dose now. There's no reason why we shouldn't immunize all our 10-year-old girls with that 1 dose. They don't need to come back again.
Many counties have partnered with KEMRI on the HPV testing, showing more than 20% of those tested randomly being positive and giving a chance for those under the age of 30 to receive the vaccine that is life-saving. These are investing more than 30% of their budgetary allocations, but it is very clear with the many success phases that have happened in counties still remain underfunded compared to the pre-devolution era.
Now to some tragic news. 2 people have died while 52 people were injured following a serious road accident in Muguga area on the Nairobi-Nakuru highway on Friday night. A priest of the PCEA church and his wife died on the spot after the trailer, which had a brake failure, hit their car in the accident, where 20 vehicles were involved, including a school bus with 44 students. Kikuyu Sub-County Police Commander Ronald Kirui confirmed the incident, saying investigations have begun, arresting 2 truck drivers. He appealed to drivers to maintain driving discipline to avoid losing innocent people on the road.
It involved a lorry and a Nissan and a school bus. There were 44 students on board. We have been able to see that 14 of them. 2 are critically injured, but we are able to manage them. Of the clients in the Nissan, we had 4 patients in the Nissan. In the lorry, we had 3 patients. 1 of them is critically ill, and we are still handling him. We will be able to manage him. There were also 4 teachers involved, but none of them has been hurt critically. So we are stabilizing the patients as we see our way forward in definitive management. Dr. Getao, PCA Kikuyu resident surgeon.
Iliweza pia kupoteza brake zake na kugonga magari ambayo tayari yalikuwa yameanza kuenda kwa mwendo wa polepole kwa sababu ya ile ajali ya kwanza. Kwa ajali hiyo yote mbili ambayo ilifanyika katika sehemu moja, tumeweza kupoteza watu wawili ambao ni familia, ni reverend ya hapa Kikuyu, kanisa la PCA, na watu kadhaa wamepata majeruhi. Kuna watu 4 hivi sasa wamelazwa katika hali ambayo si nzuri. Wengi sana wameweza kutibiwa katika hospitali tofauti sehemu ya Kikuyu pamoja na Nairobi.
The Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, EACC, arrested 2 women on Friday, allegedly posing as officers of the commission and robbing businessmen in Kakamega County. Ruth Kaimuri and Tabitha Kwena Wangeshi are said to be the operators of a private institution called Multi-Agency Works and Rights Enforcement, which has been reported to pose as a law enforcement agency which conducts criminal investigations, arrests, property inspections in shops to confirm compliance of standards and expiration dates, business operating licenses, and tax compliance for businesses. Here is that report from the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission.
Yesterday evening, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, through its regional office in Bungoma, arrested 2 persons. These are 2 ladies who had impounded the goods from a mini supermarket in a town called Hayenga Shopping Center, that is in Shinyalu constituency within Kakamega County. The 2 individuals who were arrested by the commission had impounded goods from a mini shop, purporting that those goods were expired. But what is amazing is that these individuals work for a private entity that has been posing as a law enforcement body, arresting individuals. The fellows working there were purporting to be law enforcement officers who have been going around harassing traders, inspecting trade licenses, inspecting goods in shops and other business premises, purporting to be enforcing the law, checking whether the traders have licenses, whether the goods meet what they were referring to as the standards prescribed in the law. And then, after arresting the traders, these individuals have been demanding bribes ranging from 20,000 to 50,000 per trader in order to purportedly forbear charging the traders in court. So upon receipt of a complaint from one of those affected, EACC mounted an operation leading to the arrest of the 2 while they were receiving the bribe amount.
Some of the residents of Gatundu South area are now facing the Cabinet Secretary for Trade, Industry and Investment, Moses Kuria, due to the alleged attack on former President Uhuru Kenyatta and the Kenyatta's extended family. Kuria, while speaking at Gatundu Stadium on Sunday during the Nduuma ceremony of Mount Kenya, attacked the former head of state and threatened to invade Kenyatta Ishaweri's house and defecate in public. The Cabinet Secretary also warned former president against allegations of undermining the government of President William Ruto, asking Kenyatta to respect Ruto. The residents of the Gatundu area are now objecting to Kuria's remarks, accusing him of disrespecting the former president and his family and asking him to cease and desist. The residents now want Kuria to apologize to the Kenyattas, while they want President William Ruto to control his Cabinet Secretary.
Mzee ako nyumbani kuangalia watoto wake, na mtoto akiteleza kidogo ni lazima umwambie hiyo si njia mzuri. Sasa tuko hapa Kuria kama mtoto wetu kumwambia hiyo msemo yake na mwenendo wake haendi mzuri, sababu hiyo sio desturi ya Mkikuyu kufanya namna hiyo. Kwaja tena Kenyatta ni mama yake na ni mama ya founder of this nation. Kwa hiyo awashana na mji huo kabisa.
Wananchi wa Gatundu au wasee wa Gatundu wanasema ya kwamba tunakuuliza makamu wa rais Wanagashagwa ujadiliane na ulise Moses Kuria. Maneno haya anasema ni ya kawaida kwa binadamu au la.
In the world of sports, Kangaroos are the champions of Embu Secondary School rugby finals. The Kangaroo boys are the champions of a 7-a-side rugby game in the competition between the schools in Embu. This is after they beat Nyangwa by 36 points to 5 in the final, which did not show strong competition despite Nyangwa scoring fast.
Kila game ina challenges. Sasa ni lazima ukifanya game ya kwanza ni lazima urudi tena uone the mistakes zenye players wako wamemake, uweze kucorrect ndio muweze kufanya vyema next game. Hii rugby ni tight. From sub county tukipanda juu, the more tunatoka sub county the more tunaenda kuona teams ziko na more challenges. So we are not underestimating in a team as we go forward for the regionals. Ni a game at a time. Tukifocus mbele.
The preliminaries hatukuchapwa na timu yoyote. Tulishinda matches zote zetu. Ndio tukaenda semis pia na shule ya Kanyombora. Tukawashinda pia. Tukaenda finals leo na Kangaru. Wametushinda kidogo lakini tunashukuru. Because tumejaribu yetu yote. Anza mazoezi mapema zaidi na pia tunataka tunaendelea, hatuachi mazoezi because target yetu saa hii tumeona tumefika regionals na hatujawahi fika tena. Tumeona kweli tunaweza ataenda mbele zaidi. Kwa hivyo mazoezi yetu tunaendelea nayo. Kwa hivyo wanafunzi pia walikuwa na motisha, walikuwa wametayarishwa vizuri, kwa hivyo walikuwa wanajiamini.
Well, it's about time that I call it a night. Thank you for your valuable company, for the feedback that has been coming in. Rams Ramona, who's been watching from Kitengela, asante sana, as well as Jairus Mohwana Zadok, who says good job. Thank you for watching, and to all those as well at home, tunasema asante sana. Now to the crew that has made this bulletin a success, we'd love to appreciate you for your company, and we'd love to wish you a fantastic night ahead. Have a blessed weekend and have a blessed Sunday as well. I'm Cynthia Nanjala.